Chelsea were embarrassing, but let's start off with a massive game today where Brighton have been absolutely robbed. Someone call the police. This is criminal.
Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're subscribing right now to the Football Terrace. Turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss any content from us. Also, scan the QR code in the top corner and listen to the Top 6 podcast on Spotify. Currently number 29 in the UK for most downloads. So keep it going. Set it on auto download so you don't miss any episodes and give us a nice big 5-star rating. Let's get back to Goldbridge here.
And look, the reality is there's a lot of incidents in the Brighton Spurs game at Spurs where Spurs have won 2-1. That basically kills Brighton's chances of finishing above Spurs. And that in itself is a disgrace. We've got the best league in the world and we've got the worst officials in the world. And we keep saying this and they are protected by VAR and they still get it wrong.
Mark's spot on here. And I think, I've seen a lot of Tottenham fans tweet where you guys didn't care when Southampton got a late penalty. I thought Southampton's was a penalty, to be fair, but they've had some dodgy decisions as well, but they've been called out. It always protrudes more, though, when your team performs brilliantly. You have 2 goals disallowed and a rightful penalty not given. There's 3 incidents that happened that changed the game. It wasn't as though you were outclassed, outplayed, and in the dying minutes, when you didn't deserve it, you were denied a penalty. You were absolutely battered by Brighton for the majority of the game. And they've been, it's not about Spurs. I think that's the one thing I want to say. This isn't about attacking Spurs. They didn't deserve it. They paid the ref. This is about getting refereeing better. What we have seen come out today, for instance, from the PGLMO is that, and I'll put it up on the screen so you can see, they have come out and said that they've admitted a mistake was made by officials and VAR when not awarding the penalty to Brighton in Saturday's Premier League game. So within 24 hours, they've admitted they've made a mistake. They've admitted that they've got it wrong. And as Goldbridge said, and he's absolutely spot on about this, it's a disgrace. The biggest league in the world, the best league in the world, but the officiating is getting worse. VAR, invariably, until Howard Webb came in, was getting these decisions right, overturning the correct decisions. Now, honest to God, week in, week out, they're not overturning mistakes by the referee on the pitch. And then when they get really bad, when there's nowhere to go, like this one, the offside where the lines weren't drawn for Arsenal was an example, Rashford's blatant trip the other week, they have to come out and say sorry. They have to come out and say sorry because they've got nowhere to go and it's embarrassing them. But the reason they're not overturning it is they're protecting the referees on the pitch. That's probably more likely the outcome than corruption, fraud, like people paying referees. It's crazy. We saw a tackle yesterday on Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the Man United game. Shin height, studs, after a player misses the ball, not even a yellow card given. Casemiro misses 4 games because of the same thing. It absolutely stinks.
Damn! Jesus, Allah, Jah, Ledley King refereeing and Glenn Hoddle on VAR for Brighton to taste defeat like Paul Scholes, fam. The Montreal screw job. Shawn Michaels turns on Marty Jannetty and Tottenham versus...
I just he said defeat like Paul Scholes. I was a delayed one on me. Defeat like Paul Scholes. Man's talking about sucking toes, bruv.
This is Brighton, fam. We won the game, but as for the football, these players need to walk out on the pitch with air fresheners around their neck, because this football absolutely stinks. 2 goals disallowed. Steven Seagal FC thought it was basketball, fam. Mitoma Jordan. As for the penalty, if Brighton want a pen, tell them to go to Argos, rude boy, because there's more chance of there being sand on the beach in Brighton than them reversing that decision.
That is actually a very underrated line. And if you're not from the UK, you might not get it. Argos is like a catalogue that we all looked at as kids for presents. But you go to like the shop and you get his little blue pen and you have to write the code, punch it in. It says if they've got it in stock, you pay for it, and then you wait for it to come out on a conveyor belt. If you're not from the UK, you might not get that. That is a absolute goated line there from Expressions.
Robert De Zerbi got himself sent off so he could negotiate a contract with Daniel Levy, fam. I'm sure of it. As for Stellini, that brother got himself sent off for doing the mannequin challenge. No, honestly, fam, of Mice and Men FC, Lenny, this brother was dreaming about rabbits, living off the fat of the land, acres on a farm with George.
He actually does look like Lenny. He does. Tell me the story, George. Tell me the story, George, about the rabbits and the alfalfa.
Should be managing his team. This team frustrated me so much today. I wish that I could have got sent off, fam. Big man ting. I wanted him to hand out 3 red cards. I needed a break.
Let's go! Come on!
I would say Arteta, Eddie Howe, and De Zerbi deserve Manager of the Year more for what they've achieved with what they've got. And I suppose that's the point, really. I think that the Manager of the Year, like the Player of the Year, shouldn't always be a Kevin De Bruyne if he wins the league or a Pep Guardiola. I think we're better than that. I think we've proved that over the last hour and a half. I think we've proved that over the last few years that, you know, football is powered by the fans, and you can observe football on a more granular level and understand that there is football beyond the teams that win or fight for the title. You know,
I get where Mark's coming from, and this conversation has come up on the terrace a lot in the last few weeks. Who should be in the team of the year? Can Rashford be in it if they come third? Can a Man United defender be in it even with bad goal difference? Is the team's achievements a major factor in this? And I do think the team's achievements are, if you're a pivotal player, of course, if you're the manager in it. I think Arteta being in this title race is already the biggest achievement of any manager this season, purely when you look at the league. As much as what Brighton are doing and what Newcastle have done is sensational, I think Arsenal some people may have even predicted Newcastle to be in and around or above Arsenal this year, legitimately. Arsenal have been doubted at every single step, every single hurdle. And I think what Mark has said there, and of course he's thrown Eddie Howe and he's thrown De Zerbi in there, but from a top 6 point of view, which is what the Football Terrace focuses on, I think he might be right. I think the only way, and again, they don't do it right for me, they should wait until all the trophies are won. And I do think what you do external from the Premier League should factor in to how you're voted for as the Premier League player or manager of the year, because what you do in the Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup, Europa League impacts what you do in the Prem, because you have to rotate your squad. You have to ensure that you get your tactics right twice a week. You have to get the rotation correct, training right, diets. Do we travel? Do we stay overnight in Europe, or do we fly back straight away? There's so many factors as a manager that go into that. I think if Pep wins multiple trophies, he probably deserves it, because that's one of the hardest things in the world to do. But I do think Mikel Arteta is a massive shout, and in my opinion, is the bookies' favorite right now, because he had a team that people were predicting to become between 4th and 6th, and they're having one of the best Premier League seasons ever. One of the best. They're relentless. But I do want to get your take on that. Mark Goldbridge there, back in the idea of Arteta, even if he doesn't win the league. What do you all think on that? Coming up next on the show, we're going to take a little look here to what some Chelsea fans had to say after another pathetic game.
Fuck off! Why goal? How do you score that?
His dad's coming! His dad's coming in the room! Or his granddad, his dad, I don't know. Oh, I'm going to give myself a panic attack. Oh, my God. Oh, he's dead. He's dead.
Just scored a wonder goal. An absolute wonder goal. Get out of here. Super Frank, super.
Now, Super Frank didn't score. They're gassed. Honestly, these Chelsea fans.
Super Frank. Super Frank.
This honestly, they're really gassed up about this, about Frankie coming back, aren't they? They're really like gassed up about it, and I don't think a particularly healthy way. He should be fuming, but his team's just conceded, and he's singing about Super Frank. It's a bit crazy to me.
Stop it. Get some help.
I am truly devastated with that. It's a heartbreaker. To watch Chelsea lose today really did hurt, because I genuinely believed that something special was going to happen today. I truly believed that there was going to be a standout, marquee statement performance from Chelsea today with Frank Lampard in charge. Now, of course, I'm going to come on to talk about Frank Lampard and his contribution today. And did he get anything right? Where did it go?
Nothing. It went back to a back four. Cucurella got cooked. They put a lot of pressure on at the end, but they didn't lay gloves. They had one shot on target again. It was same old, same old. Frankie Lampard just cannot move the envelope enough. They needed to bring in a world-class manager. They may as well have kept Graham Potter. To the end of the season, they might as well have kept him. Frank Lampard's going to make no difference.
Oh, wrong, of course I am, but I do have a question for you that does need to be answered. I am intrigued to hear your thoughts, so please put them in the comments below. Whatever you think of Lampard, whatever snide comment you have to make about Frank Lampard.
Oops.
However much you know that this is hurting me, my question...
A lot. You can tell it's a certain man like Rory, you know.
Question to you is this. Didn't you expect to see a statement from Chelsea players today? Because today is their opportunity to put their case forward to start a game at the Bernabeu in the week.
See, for me, this is the thing. I always kind of blame players and managers 50-50 for what happens on the pitch. But the problem at Chelsea is bigger than... It was bigger than Graham Potter. It was bigger than the players. It's starting at a board level. They've made so many mistakes. The standards ain't right. But the standards have also not been set by the board again, because they've brought in a manager that's been previously sacked for not being good enough. Did I expect a signature performance from these players? No. Because the one thing that Lampard was criticised almost universally for when he was sacked was that his man management weren't good enough. So why did people think he was going to walk back in through the door? I don't even know, what, half a decade or more since he left? Yes, he's a legend, but none of these players know him like that. Why was he going to walk back in the door and suddenly this team clicked back into gear? It was a populist decision by the board to get what we've seen there from Rory and to get what we've seen there from that other young... I don't know what channel that is. We'll find out and put it in the description. But they're just going to get behind Frank. Now all the pressure is going to go on the players and how they perform, and away from the board and away from the manager. It's a masterstroke from Todd Boehly in many respects while they figure out what they're going to do. But yeah, for me, I didn't expect anything more than we saw today. Listen, I want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. Hit the like button before you leave, please. Make sure you've got the bell notifications turned on, so whenever we post new content, you know it's gone live. And of course, listen to the Top 6 podcast now. You can listen to it on Spotify. It is available on other platforms as well. The links are in our description below. You can scan the QR code too. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.